This is the second witness that is brought up to testify. And I will say a lot of the major headlines right now are like the salacious details that this guy has said on the stand. And there's a lot of salacious details, yes. But I feel like people have just kind of went over who this man is. It's very interesting. He walks in through the back doors and we see him walk down the aisle, and immediately he has a very interesting presence. He's also super buff, like just super muscular. And he's walking in, like sometimes he'll wear his sunglasses and then he'll take them off respectfully at the stand. But he has a very strong presence, and everybody online has dubbed him the male escort that testified in this case. He states immediately that he met Cassie around maybe 2012, 2013. He had gotten a call from his boss and he told him that, quote, he couldn't find any of our black dancers, which was what was requested. So he asked me if I would mind going down to fulfill an order to have a dancer go down to the Gramercy Park Hotel in New York City for a bachelorette party. I told him I would do it. So he works for like a dancer company, right? He's going to go there. He's going to put on a show for this bachelorette party. He's going to get paid $200 and then he's going to call it a night and go home. That's the plan. Now, side note, he is supposed to be dressed up as a police officer because that was what was requested, but he didn't have one, like a police uniform. So he just went and bought a NYPD t-shirt. He shows up to the hotel.
Does he know it was, did he?
No, he does not.
Wow.
So he's explaining the job is, I mean, it sounds relatively simple. He says, quote, I was expecting to do a little striptease and that was it, just for a bachelorette party, a group of women, and then leave. So he gets to the hotel room around after midnight, so really late. He gets to the hotel room, knocks on the door. Cassie opens the door and he does not know that this is Cassie. He just thinks maybe this is the bachelorette. She's wearing a red wig, wearing red lingerie with high heels and dark sunglasses on. He's expecting a bachelorette party, and this feels, I mean, I would assume like the saddest bachelorette party. There's nobody in this hotel room. He says, she asked me if I was okay if it was just going to be us, because I was expecting to see a group of women there, but there was only her standing in the door. She asked me to come into the room. She said it was her birthday and that her husband wanted to do something special for her. And so she asked me if I would mind rubbing baby oil on her and giving her a massage. And wherever things went from there, if you know, based on how comfortable I was. He says he walks into the hotel room where there is a whole living room. It's like a suite. There's velvet couches that open up into this larger space. There's a coffee table. And this coffee table, it's just filled with candles lit up all over the coffee table. I would imagine it feels like a seance or something, because it's the rest of the room, he says, is very dark. There's candles lit up everywhere. There's baby oil. There's Astroglide. But probably the most pertinent part of the room to note, and this is according to the witness, he sees a man in the back of the room. So he's assuming this is her husband that she was just telling me about. But this man is wearing a white robe with the bandana over his face and a baseball cap. It's like the weirdest attire. I mean, I would imagine it's kind of terrifying. Regardless, Cassie is reassuring him. You know, she told me that, first off, that I didn't have to worry about anything because her husband wasn't gay. I remember her saying that to me, and he wasn't going to try and touch me or anything, and I told her that's good because I wasn't with that. And then she told me that she knew that my boss told her that she had to give me $200 upon arrival, and at that point she gave me a few $1,000s and said at the end she would tip me before leaving. Which again, at this point, he doesn't know this is Cassie. He doesn't even really know who Cassie is. Rather, he didn't even know her name at this point. He didn't know who anybody was. He says, I complimented the room, the hotel we were in, and then I asked the guy what he did for a living, and he told me that he was in importing and exporting.
Does he know who Diddy is?
This is where he finds out. So he's like, I love this hotel room. What do you do for work? He says, importing and exporting. And there was like a slight, I heard a few people giggling, like slight, like giggles in the courtroom, because it's like such a vague, like, it's Diddy. He's like, I've been importing and exporting. And he said immediately upon hearing his voice, like he knew that was Diddy.